Hey guys, it's Charmise Idris here from Charmed Handmade, and today we will be making a wine soap. And the wine I'll be using today is actually local. It's from Cityscape Winery. It's their Blackberry Merlot, and it is from Greenville, South Carolina. And just like with the beer soap that we made previously, I will have to remove as much alcohol as I can. So my first step is to let it boil in this saucepan. Well, I'm actually going to let it simmer for about 30 minutes. Although I don't need the full bottle of wine for this soap, I do like to go ahead and simmer the full thing out because I will be freezing it after I simmer it, and then I'll need to measure it out for my lye solution. And I'll be able to use the leftover in the future for another batch. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this step is necessary if you're going to make soap with alcohol. From what they say, you can actually get a live volcano if you don't boil off the alcohol or remove as much alcohol as you can. So I don't want to experience that, so I'm just going to take their word for it. So I'm going to put this on low to medium heat, and then I'm going to let this simmer for the next 30 minutes, and I will not leave it unattended. Once that 30 minutes is up and your wine is cooled down just a little bit, you can go ahead and add it to your ice trays and just let that freeze. And the ice trays I'm using do have a silicone bottom. It just helps it pop out a little easier, and I'll put that link in the description below. Now that my wine is fully frozen, it's time to make the lye solution. For the water content of the lye solution, I will be using half wine and then half distilled water. So I'm going to do a little over 6 ounces of wine, and then the rest of the content will be the distilled water. And make sure you check out the recipe down in the description below. I will have the typed out instructions, and I also have the silk calc recipe that you can download in that blog post as well. And you don't actually have to just do half wine and half distilled water. You can actually do 100% wine for this recipe. I just like to go half and half. Now that that's all weighed out, I'm going to slowly add my lye into my mixture of wine and distilled water. And by slowly, I mean slowly. So just add a little bit at a time. I'm still a little heavy-handed, but that's just what it is. But add a little bit of lye at a time and then mix it in fully. Then add some more. And I do this so that I don't scorch my wine. Now the lye solution is going to be brown regardless, but you don't want it to smell crazy, because that's what scorched alcohol will do, is smell crazy. Now I'm going to sit my lye solution to the side and let it cool down to room temperature, so about 70 to 75 degrees. Alright, while my lye solution is cooling, I'm going to mix my micas. Now, I don't like brown soap. I'm not a fan of the brown soap, so you'll see me use more mica than I probably ever have on this channel. The micas I used were all from Mad Micas. I already had them and I was just trying to create a certain color. So the micas I used were Flash Dance, I Dream of Purple, and then Ballet Slippers. And make sure you check out the blog post for the specific amount of each one I used, or you can just go for your own purpley pink or reddish color. Next up, I'm going to melt my harder butters and oils. So in this case, I'm going to melt my shea butter and coconut oil. And then after I melt that in the microwave, I will add in my castor oil and my olive oil. And I'll let this sit until it's at room temperature as well, so that both my lye solution and my oil mixture are in the 70 to 75 degree range. The fragrance oil that I'm using today is called Merlot wine, and it's from Nature's Garden. I absolutely love the scent of this fragrance oil, and of course it matches the overall wine theme. Now that everything is weighed out, I can finally make the soap. So I'm going to slowly pour my lye solution into my oil mixture, and then I will mix that up until it's emulsified. As you can see, the natural color of the soap will be brownish. If you're okay with that, then don't add the mica, but I like to make it a little burgundy-ish color, so I'm gonna add the mica. And really what I should have done and what I will do in the future is either add the mica directly to the oils before I mix in the lye solution, or what I actually do later in this video is add a little bit of lightweight oil to the mica mixture just so that it can disperse in my soap easier. And if you do want to add the lightweight oil directly into the mica mixture before adding that into the soap, I recommend adding 3 parts oil to 1 part liquid. So if you were to have 1 teaspoon of mica, you would want 3 teaspoons of lightweight oil or 1 tablespoon of lightweight oil. As you can see, I am now hand mixing the rest of my mica into my batter, and then I will also pour in the fragrance oil and hand mix that as well. And I'm mostly doing this because in the time it took for me to add the lightweight oil to the mica, my batter did get thicker and I do not want an extremely thick trace. So I'll mix it by hand and then I will put my stick blender back in just to finish the job. Now that I have a medium to thick trace, I can add my soap batter into my soap mold, and I'm also going to slam it on the ground a couple times just because I did get a thicker trace and I want to make sure that my soap is fully spread out in the mold. And I'm not going to do anything crazy to the top of this soap, just a couple waves just to add some texture. Next, I'm going to spray it with my 91% isopropyl alcohol just so that I can help combat some of that soda ash that may come along. Before I unmold and cut the soap, I do want to shout out my people over on Patreon. Thank you guys so much for supporting me over there, and make sure you check out their links in the description below. Alright y'all, this is what my soap looks like after 24 hours. So now it's time to unmold it, cut it, and then about, I would say about 5 days after I made this soap, I decided to stamp it with my big C for my logo. And then I also steamed the soap that same day. That is just for, just to make it aesthetically pleasing so I can get a little glossy on the top, but definitely not necessary. If you're still hanging in here, thank you so much for tuning into this video and watching until the end. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like my channel and have not subscribed yet, please go ahead and subscribe. Yeah. All right, y'all. Bye.